Hey, what's up everybody? Today we're going to be doing another mod work video. I know I just posted one, but I honestly don't have anything else to post about right now. Let's open this case up and see what we got. This is just my Valley collection. I keep it in this Target free first aid kit. It's kind of gotten a little dirty by now, but nice pile of expensive knives, of course. So these two are going to be the subject for today. Specifically, we're going to be taking a look at this one here. So this is a Bowie Tach, sold to me by my buddy Trend Flipper. I own this one here, and then he also sold me this Tanto one. So they're both on single barrels a piece, one barrel in each handle. I've decided to round the Bowie over the Tanto solely because the Tanto is so good as it is that I really just don't want to. I don't want to round it. This bad boy, though, we're rounding it and we're getting on video just for you guys. So my goal is to get this here way less blocky. So it's going to be a lot of material, a lot of work. Maybe clear up. I don't know if anyone can see that. That's a grinding ding. One of the previous owners somewhere down the line decided to round this horn. Didn't honestly do half a bad job. Better than what I've done before. And then you can see they definitely hit the handle right there. So it's not, the worst. It's not the greatest. It doesn't really matter to me that much. Blade shape, Bowie, pretty clean overall. You can tell they're clones. I don't know if this shows on video. But right here on the spine, there's this little notch. If you're ever thinking about buying a Tach 2, that spine on the Bowie will tell you that it's a clone. Also, looking at hardware should be pretty apparent. I believe all the Tachs I've seen have T10s. These are T8s. And, most sellers are not going to lie to you about if it's a clone or not. So let's get this bad boy worked on. Get to that in. So I've already actually filmed most of the video at this point. This is what the end product ends up looking like. But this is going to be me kind of like referencing a previous video. So let's say you have a Valley like your Tach clone, where basically you're not tuning the bushings on that. It's you're stuck with what you got. And if you got something where you tighten down the pivots any, and you have one handle that's certainly not bad. I'm actually surprised that that's swinging at all. But one handle that's, not exactly swinging. Paratite is your friend. I did a previous video on this called how to Paratite an alternative to Loctite. All you need is some 550 paracord string. I like to melt. I melted the end of this here. I have an electric Zippo here. This thing's great for this. And all you do is you stick that melted end right down in the pivot. Take your screw. And then send her home. So this here will stop your screws from backing out if you can't tighten them down or tighten them down all the way. It is going to be pretty hard to get that screw in there. So do be wary of that. See, I'm really having to torque on it. Right now, see, it's still seized, but if we can back off just a hair, I can get it to go. A little more. Nope, still a little more. Damn. There, that might have been a little too much now. And if you're a ballast guy, you're probably used to messing around with pivots like that. You can see, we're just about as tight as she gets. And then it's just down to cutting off your paracord. And then you can either burn off that little extra bit if you got a lighter. Certainly makes it look a lot cleaner. If you're working with G10, you just got to be a little more careful not to burn your G10 or nothing. But titanium, you don't got to be as worried about. And would you look at that? Barely even tell it's there. And that pivot screw is not going anywhere. While I'm, filming this right now, there is one thing I'd like to go over, and that is bead blasting. I should probably make a whole video on this, but I think I'm just going to do a little blurb here. But there is a reason why I bead blast almost anything that comes through my doors, and that's because it's a standardized finish that I can repeatedly get. I know every part that I put in that bead blaster comes out looking a certain way, and I can always choose what way that is. You know, they're all standard, and that's a great tool for anyone doing finishing. Knowing that you have a solid base to start off any finishing, might that be like polishing, anodizing, something like that, where let's say your handles are all scratched up to hell. Instead of spending a lot of time buffing out all those scratches, you can bead blast it, and now, you know, it's like super smooth. We're like ready to go right on to polishing. So that is one thing I'd like to note. But yeah, back to the video. Today we're going to be using some sandpaper I have around the shop. Let's see what grit this bad boy is. We are looking at, come on. This stuff here is like real gritty. 180 grit. So what we're going to be using, we're going to hand sand this. It's going to be a pain in the butt. This is going to be my my little workstation for the time being. It's a little bit of a mess. I've been doing some car stuff, and there's a lot of pile up just left over from it. But you're definitely going to need a vise or some kind of clamp for this, and then your sandpaper. Definitely recommend some gloves. I'm totally going to put on some gloves because that stuff's going to just tear through my hands. All right, so moved areas just because I want a better shot. You're definitely going to need a rag or something for this, unless you have flat jaws. I'd recommend double folding or folding your rag in an extra time. So we tuck that back, and then we are going to clamp our part down. I wish I had some super low profile jaws, but you know, you got what you got. Make sure it's in there. Cut our sandpaper. Some people are going to cringe because I'm going to use my nice ZT, but if you're going to own it, might as well use it. All right, we got our piece. I think I'm going to cut it down probably into thirds, and that's where I'm going to leave it. So now I've got my 3 pieces of sandpaper here. You're definitely going to want them to be a little bit longer than wide, because you know, you're dragging it across. You want it to actually drag. You know, if you have a tiny little piece, you're going to be sitting here like barely moving it. You're not going to remove a lot of material. So let's get to sanding. It's going to be fun. I'm making sure to keep track of what side I'm supposed to be on. For that, well, for this slab, it's going to be this side for right now. And then we're going to finish off this back, flip it over, then get this other side. All right, well, let's go. So we made pretty good, you know, work or progress so far. Still not where I want it. It's gonna be a lot of sanding. I'm totally gonna go cut a way bigger strip because these are just not doing it for me. All right, so now we've got our significantly longer strip. There's a reason why people charge a lot for this sort of thing. It is a lot of work, especially if you're going from like nothing, you know, like these tack clones that are just completely rectangular, to round, or if you're chamfering them. Chamfering them, easily done on the mill or somewhat easily done on a belt sander, but you know, I'm not chamfering, I'm rounding. I'm sure there's a faster way to do this, but I honestly don't know of one. I'm sure someone does, but here we go. Well, we're already getting significantly rounder than where we used to be. I just got to even out. Let's see here, sort of towards the back, and then should be good to move it up. It's looking damn good. All right, well, let's flip her over. I do want to finish that side, so we're going to start with that. Yep. Go right there. All right. So now making sure that we're on the right side of it. Let's get back to work. Let's see. It's looking pretty dang good. Still have significantly more to go to match that original grind, or sanding. How are we looking? All right, let's take a look. I think I'm just about even on the two sides. Whew, this thing's hot. I don't know if the camera will pick this up, but that shine is what we've done. Pretty dang smooth. You can see the slight difference from this spot here to this spot here. But I believe after blasting it, you shouldn't be able to tell. All right, got this but 8 more times. Woohoo! Yeah, baby. So after some consideration and my hands starting to give out from rounding by hand, I have decided I'm using the belt sander. Don't normally do this. So far, not looking too bad. It's not the most round thing in the world. It ain't perfect, but I think a bead blast is going to cover up any flaws that I had. You can see down here, compared to this side, I definitely took out more material, but you know the way it goes. So I'm going to try and get a video of me, using the belt sander, and then yeah. All right, so now we're back in the office. We're going to take a look at how those came out, because I honestly haven't really looked a ton. You can see definitely knocked off this top edge, which is what I was kind of hoping for. That slab looks pretty good. Let's take a look at this one. It's the most recent one, so it's kind of toasty. They all aren't exactly perfect, but this is a Tach clone, so I'm not the most worried about that. You know, close counts. And our last one. So I'm thinking these are probably going to get blasted, just to make sure they all have a uniform finish. So let's go do that right now. All right, so now we're done blasting them. We're gonna give them the frog lube treatment. Honestly, these are looking really good. Certainly isn't a, how would I call it, like consumer grade. If I had someone ship me a knife and say they wanted it rounded, certainly wouldn't do it this half-assed. The sanding isn't perfect, but it's a Tach clone, you know. I'm not super worried about it. Close counts on these bad boys. But all these slabs, they're looking fresh. So it's just cleaning them up and then assembling it, and we're going to see how she flips. So right before I do this final slab, here's a comparison. So here's the frog lubed one. She's kind of got like a glisten to it. Feels really solid. These can feel kind of dry, if that makes any sense. I mean, you've just opened a ton of pores in your metal, and yeah, I don't know if you can tell compared between the two. Now, this one's definitely got a little more shine to it, a little more like spunk. Looks a little bit nicer. So back to lubing this bad boy up, and then I think I'm just going to keep it in time lapse for assembly, just to not drag this video on for way too long. All right, so now we've got her back together. This Tach here definitely doesn't have the best bushings in the world, but we're just messing with the pivots. We've got it pretty tight. It's probably about as good as this boy is going to get. Already, I can tell that flips a lot better just because of that slight rounding. We're going to take this bad boy outside, get some sunlight, get a good clip of some flipping, and then end the video from there. Just in case you don't stick around, thank you for tuning in. If you like the video, be sure to like it. If you think it's worthwhile, feel more than free to subscribe. I mean, I'm kind of switching over to YouTube a little more for posting just because I'm kind of tired of Instagram. I'm a little bored of it. So, you know, you get tired of one platform, might as well move to the next. So let's get some shots of this bad boy outside. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. So right now, this is how we're looking. If I, you know, not to toot my own horn, but damn, she's clean. So far, mine, you know, both bushings are undersized, but we ain't tapping, or at least not too bad. All right. And I'm gonna post a flipping clip after this outro, so thank you again for tuning in. If you already heard my spiel or sat through it, you know, subscribe, like, do all that fun stuff. Leave a comment. I love reading comments. Just about anything. If you got a video recommendation you want, be more than happy to hear it. And yeah, thanks for your time.